we got next? We have Misha Petrov, 401k subscribers. I have heard of this person. Let's see what they say. Let's see what she says. We're going to mention Tenacious D. I don't care about that, really. Hopefully we'll... Am I seeing many videos playing? Oh, there's a little bit. Hang on. How do I get past? Probably going to just be simping. Let's just see. Let's go.
You're a conservative fan of mine, and you end up, getting blown away, whatever. I'm making fun of you the next day on Twitter.
Machine that has lied.
Conservatives deserve absolutely zero sympathy.
Do you condemn the shooter shooting Donald Trump?
He's got no sympathy. He's got no sympathy because these people are supporting someone who literally tried to overthrow democracy in the country last time. And people are on his side again. He might win, who knows?
No.
Hey guys, it's Misha, and welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about the controversy surrounding Destiny and his comments about the attempted assassination. We're also going to be talking about Jack Black's band member and what he said about Trump, and also Joy Reid comparing Donald Trump surviving the assassination attempt to Joe Biden recovering from COVID, which he has now, apparently, and has had to cancel his speeches. So let's look at that clip first.
These two men are both elderly. Donald Trump is an elderly man.
Was an actual threat to democracy and the rule of law, right? It is not the same thing. A conservative or liberal, a Democrat or Republican, literally you just have to be human. And we've created this sort of climate where people for my severe lack of judgment. I profoundly apologize to those I've let down in assassination of Donald Trump at their Sydney concert. To advocate and or wish for the assassination of a president is egregious, shape or form. Yeah.
All right, we're about ready here because I think she says something here that might be interesting.
I think any normal person would agree with that. If this was Biden that someone tried to shoot, I would be saying the same thing. That making that kind of comment, don't miss Biden.
You would potentially not be saying that. How many Republicans would be?
Biden next time is disgusting. It doesn't matter if you are a conservative or liberal, a Democrat or Republican. Literally, you just have to be human. And we've created
like this is exactly what Destiny's saying about the hand wringing. Like, what does this person think of January 6th? You know, were they also spreading a whole bunch of propaganda by the look of it? Like, oh, we've got a friendly policeman just leading this guy around. Like, January 6th was just a big fucking play party, I guess. I don't know. Like, fuck. We've watched it, so we don't need to entertain any of that shit for like a second longer. It's fine.
This sort of climate where people feel, especially celebrities feel, like this is acceptable, that this is fine, that they can call for this kind of violence to happen again and advocate for that. So someone who didn't apologize for their comments was Destiny, and we already took a look at some of his peculiar tweets on X, but he continued on, and he was even interviewed by Piers Morgan.
Dude, the firefighter guy, Trump, let's support him. I just want you to know, okay, just in case you're confused or it seems like I'm, whatever. If one of you were in the crowd and you're a conservative fan of mine and you end up, getting blown away, whatever, I'm making fun of you the next day on Twitter. I am 100%.
What a lovely, compassionate individual we have here. I thought, oh, cool. Okay, this is a person with more left.
Get my pearls as well. Clutch them. Good. Can I ring whilst clutching? Is that possible?
Leaning political beliefs, and he's willing to have these civil conversations. Silly meme.
Getting blown away, whatever, making fun of you the next day on Twitter.
I don't know what's going on. People are saying his wife left him. He was in an open relationship. I understand he may be going through certain things, but again, that is not a reason, an excuse to go out and say, yeah, well, that guy that died,
the dude.
This is demented. Okay, this is so evil.
I mean, I gotta say, I just found
that. I said, fuck that guy. What has it got to do with, like, his wife? Why do they always do this? It's like, you gotta bring up all kinds of irrelevant details from someone's life because it might be humorous to people. You're just poisoning the well. It's irrelevant. It's pathetic little jabs. And, you pretend that you're so empathetic and that's why you're scolding him about what was it again? About not condemning a shooter. Like, when his greater point is, first off, the climate is already crazy. Like, him saying that isn't even that crazy compared to what some people are saying. Like, I think the stuff that she highlighted, Tenacious D and so on, like, that's kind of worse. That's kind of more extreme. But, like, the greater point is that all this hand-wringing, like, but they expect these people to, like, get down on the knee. Who was getting down on the knee to, like, liberals? Oh, you were right about Trump. He's saying some crazy shit. He's led an insurrection attempt. He's clearly not pro-democracy. He clearly won't accept the results of a fair election. Let's get him back on the ballot. Like, what? Does that not make it even slightly understandable why he's not particularly sympathetic with these people, even if he's going kind of far with it? Like, oh my God, it's insane. I feel like I'm just being gaslit over and over. Like, we've been watching something different. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe this person's actually watched the whole video. Who knows?
Repulsive, Destiny.
I wish that there is no room. There is no room for the hand wringing, and I will not participate in this
it's not
anymore.
hand wringing.
The hand wringing. No,
It's not
it
hand wringing.
absolutely is.
No, it's just that
Jen
you are
talked about
positioning
it so
yourself.
well.
It is hand wringing. It is complete virtue signaling. Piers Morgan is one of the biggest soy fucks out there, truth be told. He will wring his hands, he will virtue signal till the cows come home, and he will insist you do the same for him.
Yeah,
but you
when
want
you
to
are
Destiny,
in
let
a
me explain
world
to you.
where conservatives can say anything.
No, I'm not a
They can have
conservative.
any conspiracy theory.
Especially coming from someone like Destiny, who has such a large following, right? I think as a commentator, as an influencer, you have that sort of responsibility. You can have the civil discourse, you can disagree
Fuck
with
that shit. You can't be honest because you have a platform. So what? If I get into the place where maybe I'll have a bigger platform and make money, should I choose between the bigger platform that makes money or keeping my honesty? Is that what you're trying to say here?
with people and have these conversations and voice your political beliefs. 100% agree. But you cannot incite violence this way and then advocate.
Did he incite violence? I don't remember why he incited violence. I think he said, fuck him, I don't feel sorry for him. I don't remember him inciting violence. You're just lying, is what's happening.
Advocate for that and say, well, I'm not going to condemn it because it negatively affected the other side. Such hypocrisy. And
There's more to it than that. Have you watched the whole thing?
then you go on to laugh at the innocent man who died because he was exercising his right and supporting Trump at this rally, right? He deserves to die. That's okay. I'm going to laugh.
He didn't say he deserves to die, it's that he doesn't feel sorry for him. And laughing at someone isn't even the same as them deserving something. If someone slips on a puddle and falls on their ass, you might laugh, even though they didn't really deserve it. It just happened and it looked funny. You know?
At that. I would gladly laugh at that again. That's what he's saying here, and it's disgusting.
That level of
So
decency.
why don't you rise?
Well, what does she think about all the people that died either during or as a result of the Capitol riots?
To a higher bar. Show them the way they should be
Liberals have
behaving.
been doing it for 8 years. There's nothing to be gained there. So
Right.
instead, we'll just have a laugh instead. And then you talk to
Yeah,
conservatives about
disavow
January 6th.
violence.
That was
That's
a false
good.
flag.
Yeah.
January 6th. Oh, conservatives disavow January 6th?
So is he allergic to letting people talk? Can he not let someone finish a sentence?
She has not seen this video because there are plenty of points where other people are doing the same thing. Either it's okay on one side, and it's okay... Fuck, what am I trying to say? Either it's okay on both sides or it's okay on no sides. I don't think this woman has watched this video. I don't think this person has a fucking clue about what they're talking about here.
Because most of what I'm hearing, he's screaming. It's January 6th. Oh
Yeah,
my
because you're not listening. Because someone raises their voice a bit and it's like, I shouldn't listen to what you're saying anymore. I should be offended that you've raised your voice. It's offense. This is peak Crimea River shit. This is what the right has become. It's cucked. It's pathetic. And it's hilarious in a way because of how fucking unhinged the right has been under Trump. Because of how unhinged his fucking cult of followers is. Because of how absolutely deranged, how gratuitous their hatred of other people can be. And I'm not saying the left is not like that. I have tons of videos criticizing leftists. Sometimes for this kind of gratuitous bullshit, this kind of bullying attitude they have. It's the same from fucking Trump supporters. Jesus Christ.
goodness. Take a breath.
First off, there's an entire cultural machine that has lied. There's an entire
just on
cultural...
real time. That's it.
What?
That's why conservatives deserve absolutely zero sympathy for anything that happens as a result of their rhetoric. That's it. It's so easy.
Okay,
It's so
but
simple.
look,
I'm not
Destiny.
exactly...
Haha, got you. It's so easy. He says, what are you even talking about? If anyone should be outraged.
Well, is he not saying they kind of laid their bed? They made their bed and they should lie in it. Is he not kind of saying that, I guess?
Haha, got you. It's so easy. He says, what are you even talking about? If anyone should be outraged.
If you're not understanding what he's saying, why are you making this video about him? Seriously. Seriously, please think about that, even though you'll never watch this.
And emotional. You would think it's people who were supporting Trump because of recent events, but it's him. Here's him talking
Oh,
about
trust me, you people are plenty emotional. There is plenty of piss in your pants right now. Don't lie.
his own family.
If you'd have the same attitude if it was your parents who'd been killed at a Trump rally, and you replied,
This is a disgusting tactic. And if she's going to go along with this, I'm going to assume she is, and I'm not going to watch any more of this shit because this is, cooked. Every single one. There's 3 videos so far. We've got one more who isn't even a rightoid, who is probably the one I'm most likely to at least somewhat agree with because it's not going to be just propaganda bullshit, If they don't understand, if this woman doesn't understand what he's talking about, then why are you looking at this? Did you not watch the whole thing? Did you not see the part where he was cut off constantly and he's doing it to other people? That's kind of what happens. I've got friends that talk a lot and will just keep talking and not shut the fuck up. So I end up interrupting them because it's well, if I don't, I'll never speak. And they don't seem to have a problem with that, so it's fine. We just interrupt each other. It's okay. And that seems to be the that seems to be the dynamic here, you know? Anyway, this was pathetic. We have one more video. We have Leon Lush. Destiny's the biggest clown online, changed my mind. Oh, I do intend to. Not that, again, 2.14 million subscribers. Like, he's not going to see this, so who cares? But, I don't know. I read some of the comments. They're mostly talking about, like, the sort of logistics, like the lack of security, the fact there was a roof that was not monitored, that was sloped, supposedly. I don't think this whole thing is about Destiny, which is really what I'm trying to talk about. Hang on, it's in the middle. We'll just start, and then if it starts going off to something else, I'll just stop there. But yeah, we'll see what he's saying. Leon Lush, he's a kind of commentary guy, I guess. He's not, I don't remember him being particularly either side, like kind of centrist, I guess. So let's see.
The Brainworms, everyone, and what a doozy. The Brainworms of the Year award goes to the United States Secret Service.
That building in particular.
Yeah, so there was some bizarre stuff around the fuck, what am I trying to say? There was some bizarre stuff around the security of this event. Like, obviously, whenever someone gets up somewhere with a gun and fires on a presidential candidate, you're gonna have to complain. You're gonna have to question the security protocols that were in place, you know?
Has a sloped roof.
What a week it has been in the news cycle. Brainworms is typically not political. I'm a pretty apolitical channel here, but it's probably not hard to guess maybe some of my political leanings. But again, I don't subscribe to really any sort of party. I just like to do it.
If I remember, I have seen plenty of his content. Like, my partner's a fan of his. I quite like some of his stuff, you know, and like, if I had to guess, he's probably like a liberal, probably a centrist or a liberal, right?
Makes sense for myself. However, I did want to take a moment to speak about a few of the things that happened this week, namely the Brainworms Secret Service attempt to secure the rally where DT was almost shot and killed. There's so much information out there on this. It seems unthinkable that this guy who was the shooter was able to do what he did if you had any sort of competence going on by the SS. I've seen countless posts and stories and videos from like former military guys, former Secret Service guys, people that have been in like counter sniper units that are just like, how was this possible? Basically. Incompetence? Who knows? Some other answer? I don't know. I'm not one to conspire. I thought this one here was kind of funny with Tiger and John Daly, the classic yin and yang of the golf industry. SS missing the most obvious sniper in history. Drunk MAGA fan spotting him and giving cops his location. There's literally footage from just like people in the crowd just like walking around with Budweisers like, hey man, what's this guy doing on the roof over here? What's going on over there? Just like nothing's going on. Like, right, I wasn't there. I don't know. But just some of the stuff that's come out is crazy. I thought this one was funny as well. Also from the Muskrat here. Biggest, baddest, highest budget security agency on the planet. A slightly slow proof. Twofold here why I love this meme. First is because it's Elon Muskrat using Pink Guy, which God bless Filthy Frank, OG YouTuber. Some of you might know him. Gone to the old days, rest in peace. But funny to see him in a meme here. Secondly, the slightly sloped roof thing. Apparently, from what I understand, one of the reasons that the Secret Service director stated as why that roof wasn't better secured was because it was sloped and that would have been dangerous for the agents.
We wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof. And so, you know, the decision was made to secure the building from inside.
Listen, I'm room temp IQ at best. I'm not the one making these decisions, so I'm not here to criticize. I'm just saying, what? You know, as I sit here, I'm curious. If I say the word ASSINATIO, you know that one? The attempt, right? If I say that, probably YouTube's gonna be like, fuck this guy, you're not allowed to monetize this. So I'm gonna just say ass animation instead. So and I'm not really gonna be talking about it. All that's to say is, like, you guys have probably been beaten over the brow with ass animation content over the last week since this happened, whether it's legacy media, Twitter, X, whatever. So we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. Wanted to move on to something related. Also, Brainworms. Can we just talk about Destiny for a second? The biggest fucking rat on the internet. If you don't know who Destiny is, he's a liberal.
Biggest rat on the internet. That's a good start, isn't it? Like, we seem like we're going to give a nuanced and unbiased understanding kind of take. Biggest rat on the internet. Great. Yeah, good start. Great.
Streamer who's risen to quite a bit of notoriety recently by being in big debates with people. He talks fast. He occasionally sounds smart because I think he abuses copious amounts of Adderall.
What is he talking about?
But he's just a complete fucking slug. Admittedly, I don't know that much about him. I just constantly see him coming up.
I don't know that much about him, but he's really stupid and only has good takes ever because he takes Adderall. Sure, whatever.
In my feed for having some of the worst takes on the planet.
You know what? I talk quite fast. The reason I do is because I used to work on phones and I used to have to take calls about like maintenance problems in people's houses. And talking fast was the only way to like finish a sentence most of the time. And bear in mind, I've got a lot of people to look after. I've got a lot of people to take calls from. So I need information as quickly as possible. And I need people to answer kind of direct questions. Is that like me pretending to be smart? If I take Adderall, will that occasionally make me give good takes? But then you don't know the person very well, so, well, why even comment on their person then, you know? We see someone say one thing and we soy the fuck out because it's like, oh, this person must be terrible. People find my Twitter and I say some unhinged shit because I'm a bit of a schizo poster, let's be honest. And they soy out and immediately assume I must be a terrible person, knowing nothing about how I live my life. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, go ahead. Fucking sit there and make incredible judgments about someone and then immediately say, well, I don't actually know this guy. Like, that's pretty weird, dude. That's not great, is it?
And that happened once again this week. As you guys know, there was somebody at this rally where the ass animation took place. And unfortunately, somebody did lose their life. It was, I think it was a 50-year-old firefighter. He was obviously a conservative guy from Pennsylvania who was there to support DT, and he caught a stray.
What, he wasn't a liberal at the rally? Really?
In the dome, and he died. And this is obviously incredibly tragic, right? This was a father that was loved by
Yeah, of course. I'll virtue signal for a sec. Yeah, of course it was terrible. I'm not going to sit here and be like, fuck him personally. I think that's a bit too far. But I don't just soy out. Someone says something I find offensive. Immediately that person is the most terrible person in the world. But let's see what else he says.
Wife and his kids. He was a firefighter. Incredibly tragic. And I'll leave it to Destiny to be just the biggest piece of shit on the planet. He said a bunch of callous things that can be summed up as like, lol, dude got killed at Trump rally, who cares, he was conservative, etc. This one here.
It's a bit more than that. It's a bit more than he was killed, he's a conservative, lol. It's more that he's a Trump supporter after all the shit that's gone on. After like January 6th, all the shit that happened there, the attempt against democracy that we've all forgotten about. And now his image has somehow been sanitized to fuck. Like, it's more about that. And people are supporting him. He might win even. Like, are there no alarm bells going off? Like, am I that crazy that I think that it's insane that this guy is on the fucking ballot after doing all that shit? When there's like freely available information about it, you know? When these conservatives can sit there and have the opinion that the cops just let their people in to fucking January 6th. And I don't need to keep showing the clip. I've already shown it. It's going to be on the video. It's fine. I've watched a whole video. I watched a whole video. I put out a whole video that shows a clear sequence of events that shows that a heck of a lot of these people have been lying about this shit and not, you know, showing any kind of condemnation for an event that killed more than fucking one person. So at a certain point, it's like, why should we play your game? Why should we condemn everything that a liberal does? Meanwhile, Trump has been doing crazy shit for fucking years. The whole temperature of the conversation has been going up and up and up because of Trump for years. And now because of that, people are radicalized against him as well as for him. And, you know, are we going to see the Piers Morgan thing? I don't know. Hang on, let me see. We've got some of the Piers Morgan thing. So, like, yeah, I mean, I would really hope that he will watch that and acknowledge that Piers Morgan is making an insane fucking argument saying about Joe Biden with the bullseye thing, and that Destiny isn't doing a whataboutism. He is highlighting a more probable cause for why people are so radicalized that someone got up there with an AR-15 or whatever it was and took pot shots and actually managed to kill someone, almost killed Trump, you know? It's wild. And I'm not really looking forward to another person missing the point, but maybe he'll get it. Who knows? I still have faith, even though this is not working for me at all right now.
Here, I'm going to blur the picture, but it's a picture of the stands where you can see some blood, but
You disgusting bitch. I cannot believe your shit right now. People are just offended, man. Being offended doesn't give you fucking power. I don't agree with someone saying that shit, but like, what am I going to do? Soy out at him? What am I going to do? Tell him that I'm offended? Who cares? Who cares if I'm offended or not? Right?
he says, all I see is Biden up +1 in Pennsylvania, meaning who cares if this guy died? It just means one less Trump supporter is basically what he's saying. Here's another cute clip from this rat.
Fuck it, fuck the dude, the firefighter guy, fuck Trump, fuck
yeah,
the
it's really cute that you can just take really short clips and not have to engage with the overall point, not have to engage with how fucked things are that we're even in this situation, you know? It's so easy. It's so easy for people. Do you know what I mean? I didn't realize so many people on YouTube are such fucking hacks, man.
support him. I just want you to know, okay? Just in case you're confused or it seems like I'm, whatever. If one of you were in the crowd and you're a conservative fan of mine and you end up, getting blown away, whatever the fuck, I'm making fun of you the next day on Twitter. I am.
The hardest thing for me to digest is how quickly it feels like over the last, a decade, things have spiraled into a place where, people are just terminally online and we have this complete void of empathy.
That's actually Destiny's point as well. Like, if you watch the whole thing, you understand that that's what's going on. That's what has happened and has very much contributed to this environment, because some of the Trump supporters are actually fucking insane and have directly contributed to this worsening of fucking discourse or whatever.
And it's so exacerbated by, you know, partisanship, this kind of division that's been happening in this country. It's like, it feels...
Because what he has to understand, by the way, is that by now, by the time of Destiny saying what he said, we're 8 years plus into that. And it's already like that. That's already what we live in. So, like, why do we have to keep clutching our pearls? You know what I mean?
Like, regardless of your ideologies and how you feel about someone, whether they're conservative, whether they're progressive, liberal, Republican, that you should be able to employ some level of empathy for an innocent person having their life taken by a psycho killer and leaving behind, you know, a wife and kids. At what point in the...
So, a psycho killer, I mean... Listen, I always am gonna like say that people shouldn't kill each other, right? But we're so far past that, man. I mean, people have very understandable reasons as to why they get radicalized against Donald Trump. Like, come on.
The kind of like the eternally online internet rabbit
Destiny is a woman's name. I agree with that.
hole, you lose the ability to employ empathy there, right? If somebody at a Democratic convention lost their life and they were the type of person that embodies a lot of things that I typically don't care for, I'm still going to be able to feel bad for a person losing their life and a family losing a loved one. That should be a...
Well, like, it sucks, but I mean, people die every day, man. This person was extremely unlucky, clearly. People die of bad luck all the time. Not often at the hands of a shooter, granted, but, you know, I really want to see if he starts to, like, grasp the point, or if he's just going to insult him over and over, because if so, like, fair enough. We've got, what's the 4 version of a hat trick? We've got 4 terrible videos, if so.
Basic capability as a human. But Destiny's just like, nah, fuck that guy. He liked Trump. Who cares? If I've learned anything today, it's that Destiny's the absolute worst. A person in the crowd...
Why does he think that? Should we watch a bit of the conversation around this and find out? Maybe?
Cheering for supporting trade in this country caught us straight. I'm so sad, please. Yes.
Is it not understandable why he'd call Trump a traitor to this country and find it insane that people are supporting him after Jan 6th? I'm going to keep harping on this point until someone fucking computes. Until I get evidence that anyone else thinks. Someone else must think in this world. There must be other people. I refuse to believe there isn't.
So he just goes on and on, doubling down over and over. When he gets called out, of course, he goes to point fingers like, well, when this happens on the other side.
He's not even engaged with that, by the way. Great. Okay, good job. This is an amazing video. I'm so glad I'm watching it.
They don't have any empathy for Nancy Pelosi's husband who got attacked by a hammer, blah, blah, blah. And there is some truth to what he's...
Yeah, because they're demanding it. He's going to say there's some truth. Fair enough. Yeah, they're demanding it. At a certain point, doesn't that get annoying? When fucking Jan 6th happens and you've got idiots like the Quartering who'll sit there interviewing a guy being like, well, you know, the fucking MAGA shaman was being led around by a policeman, like, chatting, and, like, you know, it wasn't this crazy, like, riot like people were saying. When we watch the footage, people are putting fucking windows through, like, you know? But yeah, I think he's gonna possibly redeem it a little bit here.
He's saying there's a lot of double standards in politics as a viewer, right? Not somebody who's in here debating one way or the other. Just from what I see on the internet, it's all like, you know, free speech for me, but not for thee. There's
True, exactly. We're starting to edge towards the point. Thank you, please.
A lot of this, like, you know, say the worst possible shit you can, but when it happens to your guy and the other side says some bad shit, you're clutching pearls. So I understand that aspect of it.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing.
Just sad all the way around that we've completely lost a baseline level of human empathy to where this...
It is sad all the way around. But then why single out one guy in a way, you know?
Decent, country-loving American loses his life and we're over here just fucking talking shit and making jokes, dude.
You are in a world where conservatives can say...
Oh my god. Watch Piers Morgan personally bitch-slap Destiny on air. The Vigilant Fox. This person is clearly a bit of a fucking loser. And just quoting all this fucking shit. Much as you would like him to be the new Hitler. When did he say that? You seem someone who seems almost gleeful. Was he? Maybe? Like, saying some dumb shit, but like, hey, he got attention. I don't know. I understand where he's coming from, so I guess it's different for me.
Anything.
No, I'm not a
they can
conservative.
have any conspiracy.
But the other thing is I'm just not that easily offended, so...
I'm not a
They can
conservative.
have any plot. They can do anything, and then liberals are
All right,
supposed to sit here and be like, "Oh my God, it's so tragic."
No, Destiny.
Absolutely not.
Let me explain my position, because I'm not a conservative.
So that's his whole point. He's like just offensive because it's like, oh, well, the other side is just as bad, so I'm going to just be...
Not his whole point. How much of this have you actually watched? How much well, we've already seen this video from someone else. 17 seconds of a 5-minute 13 clip of an, I'm pretty sure, over half an hour conversation. Like, you can say that what the shit Destiny was saying was offensive. Like, yeah, it probably is. But you're choosing not to really engage with the deeper point there. And Piers Morgan is not going to do that because Piers Morgan wants to fucking talk his own shit. What do I disagree with? Hang on. I've sort of forgotten what he was saying. Hang on.
In a world where conservatives can say anything.
No, I'm not a
they can
conservative.
have any conspiracy theories.
So to my mind, there's an awful lot of conservatives who don't give a fuck that things like Jan 6th happened and will support a candidate who was very much involved in that shit, basically trying to subvert democracy, and is now on the ballot again, which is insane. And it's difficult to understand people that are like supporting him again, except for maybe the two sides thing if you really hate Biden that much. But like, what the fuck's he gonna do this time if he loses, you know? So like, I can see why someone wouldn't feel bad for someone who's obviously a big supporter of said insurrectionist or whatever. You know, probably if that happens, like, sure, we shouldn't like laugh about it and like it's offensive and stuff, but there's a deeper point to be made there that it's fucked that it's at that point. And these people have been like making the dialogue more intense and more inflammatory for years and years and years, like Trump supporters. That's inarguable. And all of a sudden now we want to hand wring because something bad happened to that side. Like, where's this so-called empathy whenever it happens on the other side? There isn't any. So why try and crowbar someone into fuck, what am I saying? Why try and crowbar someone into condemning something like that? Like all this stuff that he's saying here, like emotive language, piling it on. You seem almost gleeful. I mean, he's welcome to that fucking thing. That makes you despicable. Like, okay, sure. Last time I checked, Donald Trump has murdered 12 million people, as much as you would like him to be the new Hitler. This is just projecting an opinion he never even said, which is crazy. And the shit he's saying about Trump is right. Like, we've got people who will say, and someone on this panel, which no one's watched the full thing of apparently, someone on this panel says, oh, well, the police just let the people stroll in on Jan 6th, where more than one person died, by the way. Which is completely insane. I have a video on my channel which very much shows that it wasn't just people strolling in with the police like, oh sure, here you go, let yourself in. The quartering was even pushing this kind of shit back in the day. He's someone else that I've watched on this. And it's just deranged to me. Like, they will go to the ends of the earth to cover for like shit like Jan 6th and then hammering over this. Like, it's complete hypocrisy. And if someone needs to be an offensive asshole, and I'll agree that maybe that's what he is, in order to make that point, then maybe that's what needs to happen, because he got on here and he was able to at least try and make his point that shit's already this bad. And it's fucking nuts that Trump is even still, like, how the fuck did this guy get his image sanitized so quickly and so easily? It's insane to me. I don't know. He seems I hate to think what's going to happen, whether he wins or loses, quite frankly. So, I don't know. I'm going to keep playing, but like, if you have any more questions, feel free.
They can have any, they can do anything, and then liberals are supposed to sit and be like, oh my God, it's so tragic.
No,
absolutely not.
Let me explain.
Absolutely.
Let me explain my position, because I'm not a conservative.
So that's his whole point. He's like just defensive because it's like, oh well, the other side is just as bad, so I'm going to just be just as bad. It's like eye for an eye type of rhetoric.
You disagree with Destiny's take. That's fair enough. To me, like I'll cop to that it's offensive, but I don't see why someone should be forced to like condemn something. I think there's a difference between that and saying, oh, I'm glad the guy died, he deserved it, like, which he didn't quite say. And to me, it's like, these people don't deserve him saying that he condemns it, because this person says some unhinged shit about fucking January 6th. You won't see it in this video probably, because it's 5 minutes 13. Most of these people responding have absolutely no idea. They seem to not to have watched the video at all. And they're just reacting emotionally because they're offended. It's fine if you're offended, but it doesn't give you power. It doesn't make you right,
Eric, essentially.
I'm not on either side in your race, right? Here's what I think about what you did.
Also, Piers Morgan is full of shit when he says that. He's not a fucking centrist. He pretends to be. He always seems to land on the same side, though, so... I don't know. That's why I don't call myself a centrist, because usually I lean towards the left, you know? So, I don't know. I can see why you do that, but it's dishonest in my opinion.
You'd like to fire off, as you've done so far in this debate, about your fury at how disgusting Republicans are, how inhumane they are, how they never have any empathy, blah, 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 blah. And then you yourself actually are exactly the person that you're describing.
Right.
I disagree with him, and I disagree with him too. Right, okay. It's already at that point. We're already long past that shit. There are people fucking grave dancing, and if they're not, they're saying that they wish Trump got hit. And they're not the ones on here. The guy that says I don't care that he died is the one on here, you know? That's not even the worst take that someone had. Like, fucking Kyle Gass isn't sat there, you know what I mean?
You are inhuman. You are somebody who seems almost
And he can just sit there and, like, pound on these judgments at him. Like, please. Like, what fucking small dick does fucking Piers Morgan have to do this shit, man?
that a young firefighter with a family, with a wife and children, who he was protecting as he was shot dead.
So the point that Pierce made there about being the exact thing that you champion against, I think happens all of the time in politics. And I'm going to...
I used to watch him a lot and thought his takes were pretty good. Jan 6th, there's a good point to bring up, but the things Destiny said about the dad who got killed, it feels like Destiny is just saying stuff to insult or get views. He didn't always do it, but he does it a lot now. I mean, does that not also play into his point that all of this rhetoric has gotten increasingly, like, hostile and increasingly inflammatory? I've witnessed it in my own kind of communities. Like, I'm trans myself, and trans communities are, like, notorious for being the worst fucking things ever, but it's only ever got worse and worse as people have got more and more, like, radicalized. And I don't see why, if someone was to ask me to stick up for someone who supports Trump, who, like, the Jan 6 stuff is crazy. Like, it seems like there's a lot of evidence in, like, the indictments from what I've seen so far. I need to look more into it, for sure. But it seems like there's a lot of evidence that actually he was in on it, and that this was like kind of at his behest or whatever. So, like, it seems insane to support him after that. It seems un-American and unpatriotic, which is hypocritical of the right, because they're the ones that are supposed to be, like, patriotic. So, like, I don't know. I can understand why people are offended, but I think when people are offended, they should think about why they're offended. I think that's important to do, I guess. Because that's all people seem to have. Oh, it's kind of inhumane. Oh, well, you're saying... Well, he's saying mean stuff, you know, like, fair enough, you can say that, but, like, isn't there a deeper conversation to be had here about how we got to this place? Because we're already here now. It doesn't really matter, you know, that he said those things in plenty of ways.
I'm going to come back around to that point in a minute when we're looking at something else that's made the Brainworms list today surrounding free speech, but just wanted to make that point before we get there.
He deserved what was coming to because he went to a President Trump rally. A man who
He didn't say that, did he? Is he gonna say this in the clip? I think he does, because I've seen the clip earlier.
President of the United States until recently for 4 years, and
I really want to know if he's watched the whole thing.
maybe again. You sound almost gleeful, Destin. I'm sorry. That makes you, frankly, despicable.
I don't think I'm gleeful about anything. I don't think anybody should die. I don't think anybody deserves to die. But you want to talk about gleeful? Look at the conservative response to Pelosi's husband.
No.
When they
Sort of, it's all just like this deflection. It's like you can't just take accountability. I don't know.
Is that deflection?
he deserves to die. But
Is it deflection or is it pointing out hypocrisy?
you want to talk about gleeful? Look at the conservative response to Pelosi's husband.
No.
When they
Yeah, and I mean, you want to talk about gleeful, people saying, oh, I wish I wish the bullet hit Trump. Shame it killed the other guy instead, I guess. I don't know. That seems more insensitive to me.
Sort of, it's all just like this deflection. It's like you can't just take accountability. I don't think I don't know. He just fucking sucks, in my opinion. I don't really want to watch much more of him. Everything I see from him is just like this.
Yeah, you might actually understand where he's coming from if you do that, and you can't have that. You got to shit on him as much as possible, and, you know, whatever. Gain whatever clout you get from that. There's probably plenty going around at the moment.
Absolute soy cock dude that isn't even...
Soy. You want to talk about soy. You are being soy right now. I think he has fair points, but I think his surprise of how many of his fans were more center or maybe something right-leaning, even though I think Destiny knows that very well, intentionally used to say it in the center pretty well. Over the years, it seems he's strayed way more left. To be honest, I've heard people say the opposite. I've heard people say that he's gone way more right, honestly. I don't know. I don't know that I think he's changed that much. Like, I've gone through like phases of watching him a lot. I don't really watch many people in general at the moment. I watch stuff from my stream, that's about it. And then it's like whatever slop I put on when we're playing video games and hanging out or whatever. I don't think he's changed all that much. And I think, I don't know, he seems like he gets laser focused on something. And like right now it's Trump, Jan 6th, the fact that what he's calling a traitor is like once again running for office for like the third time, you know? I don't know. I hear the same argument in reverse a lot, so I'm not sure quite what to do with that one, if I'm honest.
In his child's life, and he's just terminally online and saying all of the dumbest shit you can imagine. That being said, though, speaking of the double standard, there was a bunch of people calling for him to get his accounts terminated, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm just like, listen, I don't like people that say terrible shit, but I will defend their right to say it. I don't think people, you know, I've always erred on the side of the anti-censorship, and people.
It's a bit odd to be offended and then say, well, I support his right to say it. I don't know. There's just something odd about that. I can't really express it in better words.
Should be allowed to have terrible ideas or say terrible things, and I think they should die on the battlefield of ideas. Certainly, there's a lot of gray area there as far as like what you're condoning, whether it's violence, et cetera, et cetera. If you have a large audience and you're targeting people, I know there's a lot of gray area there, and that's a different conversation. But there has been a lot of people that are like, oh, he said mean things, I want him banned, and it's the same type of people that get angry when, you know, their side gets banned for, you know, having an old video getting dug up of them saying a bad no-no word or something like that. Quite frankly, it's all just very tiresome, which is why I don't typically go into it on this channel, but there was just so much fucking brainworms going around this week. I just had to come on here and congratulate Destiny for winning the Brainworms of the Year award. You are a terminally online rat that habitually abuses stimulants just so you can stay barely abreast of every hot partisan issue in the news cycle. People mistake you talking fast with intelligence for some reason, but you are simply a parasite with negative testosterone that is an expert at nothing except LARPing as some sort of thought leader in a space where all you have to do is be the loudest moron in the room in order to farm attention. Congratulations.
Really? This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. This is rubbish. I was told that this video was amazing and was going to change my mind. It has not. He's managed to be slightly less stupid than everyone else that I've watched. Congratulations. Great. Anything else on here? This doesn't look like people on the beach. Yeah, I mean, like, Leon Lush's content is decent. He normally shows kind of Karens and stuff like that. Crazy people on body cams, which I like body cam footage. I watched some of that. I mean, this is other stuff. Fair enough. Yeah, I completely disagree with him.